two, one. Here we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. How we doing? Yeah, please let me know that you can hear me by reacting. Let it be that the network is good. Okay. Yeah, the voice that you're hearing or that you can hear as at now is Timothy, and I will be your host for tonight. I'm actually very excited that we're having the return of this session. Um, yeah, I'm glad we're having this second session because this session is going to be more practical. I mean, last session was practical. Last session was practical. All right, this session is just going to be, you know, very specific, very hard on the nail. Yes, we're going to be very hard on the nail. We're going to hit the hammer on the nail, nail it. All right. So who's agreeing with me that we should start? Should we wait for 2 more minutes for others to join us? While others are here to join us, we can start with an introduction. We can get to know who and who is on the call. What do we do? What's this platform about? What community is this? Who are these people? All of those things that you're probably wondering about. I'm going to start by addressing it. So at any point that you can go earlier, please indicate probably be the network. You can't trust that guy. So one of the things you can only do is to communicate at any point that you find yourself not able to see the screen, and not able to hear. Okay. All right. So I want to see reactions that we can hear me, please. You can hear me. We are live. You can hear me. Okay. I'm not seeing reactions. So. Oh, you guys are keeping it for the best. So I'm not good enough to collect your reactions. You guys are saving your reactions for the best. Okay, so yes, welcome to Project Series. Now, I know you're wondering what is Project Series. Is anybody wondering what's Project Series? Project Series is a platform that we've built from the Smart Discogs data community designed to focus on project related topics or things that are related to building a data project. All right. So, you know how it is to be a data analyst without having a project. Doesn't make sense. You can't be a data analyst without having. You can even thrive in any tech career without having projects. It's not enough. It's not enough to, take the course. It's not enough to read the materials and do your research and study and have access to coaches and work or have direct access to a data eh, analytics platform. It's not enough to do these things. It's not enough to watch hours of videos on YouTube and take that course. You need to have projects. Now, what we're doing on the community is to focus on project related topics, things that a lot of data guys are not paying attention to, things that we need to thrive as data professionals. It's not enough. You need projects. Project is when we know that you're serious with your career. I know I'm sounding somehow, but please, I have to be honest with you guys, right? Project is how we know you're serious in your career. Project is how we know that you are ready to actually get an opportunity to get paid for your skills, get recognized for it. Projects. I mean, project. And nobody gonna fund a data analyst who doesn't have a project. Nobody's gonna give you, a paid opportunity if they don't see that you have that skills. That's practical skills. All right. In the early days of my career, I used to work with clients who are also data professionals, but they don't know how to do the technical things. They only know how to talk about it. So what they do is that they get the jobs and they reach out to me and say, "Hey, Timothy, what's up? Somebody shared your contact with me. I'm working on something. I need a data analyst that is very strong practically." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm your guy." Then we negotiate at a price, and I get on that project with them. And most of them, they just have the knowledge, they have tons and tons of information, but they can't handle the practical data, so they are not confident enough to close that project without a data professional who has the practical skills. And that's what project is about. What we're doing on project series is a workshop, a webinar that is focused on topics, things that you guys probably are not paying attention to, or you're not even seeing the value. We're bringing professionals, people that have figured it out, to the community to share practical experience. It's a practical workshop. It's not just going to be talk. That's why you have a screen. If this was going to be a talk, definitely we'll go to Twitter Space, or we'll go to Instagram Live, or we'll do a LinkedIn Live. All right. But we're intentionally having it to be on Google Meet because we want to have a practical session that is closed. It's within the community. You can't just join the platform. You have to be a member of the community to get access. And if you are not a member of the community, well, you can just leave a message in the comments, and someone is going to share you the form that you should fill to get to the end, which is the community link. Make sense? All right. So the person you're listening to is Timothy, and I will be your guy. I am going to be your guy. Yes, in the last session that we held, we had a very interesting conversation on building a strong data portfolio. Raise a hand if you were in the last workshop. Raise a finger if you're in the last workshop. Raise a hand. Hands up. Just hands up. Thank you, Peter. Any other person was on the call in the last meeting? Tolulokwe, awesome. Arabo, awesome. Emmanuel, okay, great. So a good number of us were actually in the last workshop. Victor, awesome. So you see that and I know I made a promise in the last workshop, right? I said we were going to have a return workshop. Guess what? That's what we're doing tonight. Okay, that's what we're doing tonight. We want to pick up from where we stopped last session. Okay, I want to hear from someone. I don't want to be the one doing all the talking. This is not a podcast. Come on, don't leave me here. Don't leave me hanging here. This is not a podcast. So who wants to raise a hand? Tell us what last session was about, what stood out for you, and why did you decide to come back? Why are you here? I know you are supposed to be frying egg. You know, okay, let's not go there. But you chose to be here. So why are you here? What was the last session for you? Why did you come back? Why did you decide to join this second edition after the first edition that you attended in the last meeting? So who wants to speak? So tell us your name, tell us where you're joining from, and then tell us what stood out for you in the last session. What did you get from the last session? So that those of us that are just joining for the first time would be, educated by it. And I mean, it's good to always speak in a workshop. It allows you to get recognized, allow people to notice your proficiency. It's also a way to learn how to speak. Okay, so come on, somebody should learn how to introduce themselves. So raise a hand, I'll call you, you tell us your name, tell us where you're joining from, and then you would tell us what last session was like for you, which was the session you're currently saying, where we had more kind day, talk about stuff. All right, anybody wants to pick themselves? Anybody wants to pick his or himself? Anyone? 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 No one? Thank you for not volunteering, because this is where I get to pick you. Yay. I love to pick people. I don't know. Like, I don't like to work alone. So let's pick someone. Somebody is volunteering or pushing Ake to the front. So that's the person I'm going to pick to the front, because you chose to pick someone, you're going to be picked. You know yourself. Should I call your name, or you want to bring yourself forward? Oh, he left the call. That's intentional. Oh shit, that was intentional. No, that was intentional. Victor, you're coming back to do the closing statement of this review call. You're coming back. Okay, it's not a review call, it's a workshop. All right, so let me check in. I can't. You guys are doing this intentional. All right, so let's hear from anybody want to introduce. I just want someone to just talk about what the last workshop was. You don't have to say so many things, just what stood out for you. You guys should really tell yourself now, it's a community, it's not a podcast. Nobody see your face. Nobody see your face, darlings. Nobody see your face. Just raise a hand and do an introduction. You just speak. You just communicate. After people will say you have communication skills, can you imagine? Tomorrow you say, I'm a data analyst. My communication skills is not over there. I catch you telling me that next time. just know that you're on this call and you just fold my hand. You cannot communicate. Really, really, you don't want to communicate. Okay, all right. I don't want to call names. I'm intentionally not want to call names. You guys just want me to do all the talking. Well, I'm still going to call names. Okay, they called you. I'm sorry. I don't like to call somebody that somebody have called, but Ake is a friend, and I would love to hear from her. What was last session like for you? What stood out for you? So just tell us your name, where you're joining from, and talk about last session.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
I Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, my name is Akibasi Esther, and I'm joining from Rivers State, Nigeria.
Okay.
And yeah, so last session was about building a strong data portfolio, and the interesting one. It was eye-opening. It was very interesting as the our guest speaker was Omo Kehinde Adedeji, and she's a two-time Tableau ambassador. And then she engaged us on what our portfolio should look like, why it should look that way, and the requirements, and what best suits a good portfolio. And then she furthermore discussed on the reason we should put ourselves out there, the reason we should do the certain things we do, like the reason we should have a portfolio, which is to showcase what we do, which is to document the series of activities, the projects we work on, yes, practically, and to pitch ourselves out there, not just to have a portfolio hidden somewhere updated,
Mm,
to ensure that we put it on the right platform, to showcase what we do, so that when opportunities arises or when we need to speak for ourselves, we don't just speak by words but by actions. So
yeah.
yeah, so the she also showed us a fascinating part of our dashboard, coloring, the kind of colors we need to use. For it was very beginner friendly, that even if you are not capable of doing that now, you can reach out to her. You can check out our page. I think it was shared on the group later on what
Yeah.
that looks like. Yes, so and yeah, she mentioned about she spoke about consistency and working with data sets, working with she said a whole lot of things that but in a nutshell it was impactful, and yes, just have a good portfolio. Yes,
All
that's
right. Thank
yes.
you. That's actually very cool. That's actually very, very nice. I like that. I like that. Okay. Okay. So this is it. Peter, your hand is up. Oh, okay. All right. Peter, you want to speak? Okay. All right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I want to speak.
Hey, big man. What's up?
Good evening, coach. Good evening, everybody. My name is Peter
Hi.
Oyenorapo. I'm joining the call from Lagos. Okay, about
Awesome.
the workshop we had last week. To answer your question, what stood out for me? Basically, uh, one of the things I can clearly remember off the top of my head was when she said, whatever we document in our portfolio should always answer at least one business question.
Mm,
She said our portfolio, whatever we have documented in our portfolio, should answer at least one business question. So it doesn't seem like we are just putting together different charts on our dashboard and it's generic. That it should answer
mm,
a business question. Then she also said, even as we evolve and we advance in our data journey, the portfolio we built, I mean, a particular project we documented last should be built upon in the next one. We should at least add a little more to show that we've advanced since the last time we documented a particular project. Yeah. That's basically the two
Mhm.
things that came up my mind. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Exactly right. Being able to improve on your projects. Like if I go down your GitHub or your project portfolio, I should be able to see that you've transitioned. You started from and now you have something. Okay, we should be able to see that you have meaning what's this? This is not nice. And then when we move up your recent project, we should see that you have gotten better. We should be like, oh wow, we should be able to see your growth. Your portfolio should reflect your growth. That's actually very interesting. Thank you so much, Ake. Thank you, Peter, for showing up and sharing that insight with us. Tonight we are going to be talking about custom portfolio websites. And honestly speaking, this is a very important. If how many of you saw the video I shared by Alex the Analyst on the community? Did you see it? Raise your hand if you did. And you watched it. It's not that you saw it. It's not to see it. It's to watch it and learn. Okay. All right. So if you did see it, then you would agree with me that one of the things Alex said was it's not like a must have, but it's a must to have when you want to show the things that you have done over time. All right. If you want people to come to a page and see so many things about you, then you need to have that portfolio website. Okay. And tonight, I'm not going to say much because we're having an amazing and interesting guy in the person of Isaac. I met Isaac on the study group. Isaac, good evening. Just to be sure that you're on the call with us here. Hi, Isaac. Are you there?
Good evening, I'm here with you, sir. How
All
you
right,
doing,
good.
sir?
I'm fine, thank you. So I met Isaac on the study group. We have not met we didn't meet in any other place but the study group. That's just amazing, right? And over the period of time, Isaac have gotten so good in his craft, and I have been impressed by the works I've seen him build. He has moved from, saying, "Oh, I want to really go into data science. I want to be good in machine learning. I want to get into this data thing," to doing it. Like Isaac has really worked on himself, and that's really something that inspired me to have him join us tonight. Initially, I had a friend that was going to come and talk about portfolio building, but when I was just like, wait, there's Isaac. What are we doing? What are we doing? What do you mean there's no Isaac? There's Isaac on this call, bro. So I had to. I mean, I'm funny how while I was thinking about it, Isaac texted me, and I was like, oh, I like this is a good timing. But I was doing shakara small because we had to clear the air of our previous conversations, and that's how we have Isaac. Isaac is going to walk us through his work. It's going to be his work. You're going to see him talk about his work, and I want you to learn from it. So, who's Isaac? Isaac is a data analyst, meaning he's proficient with using data analysis too, and he has that problem solving thinking. Like Isaac is an intuitive person, and if you talk about data analysis and you want to have an intelligent conversation with somebody, just call Isaac. Isaac is always in that mood to talk about data stuff. That guy is so curious. He's also very curious and interested and very passionate about pursuing a career in machine learning engineering. So he's also into machine learning engineering, right? He did not just stop his journey in data. The bigger picture for Isaac have always been machine learning from the first day we met. And I think that's something he keeps pursuing and he's still doing and has done internships on it, right? Isaac is also a BI intelligent developer, meaning he also loves to build the skills on dashboard. Right? We met Amatayo last session. Amatayo is more into like BI, but beyond BI, what does a data portfolio look like? And that's why we have Isaac tonight, because we want to look at BI, we want to look at data portfolio beyond just, the dashboard design and data reporting. And that's the reason why tonight is going to be very interesting. He's currently in Futa. He's a Futarian, right? He schools in Futa. and he has a very strong experience in building and working with tools like Python, SQL, Power BI, and Microsoft Excel. One thing about Isaac is his passion, and I think that's something I enjoyed the first time we met. Isaac was so passionate about data that I could not afford to not recognize him. Like, you cannot ignore Isaac in the room because he's going to just bring his head forward like, hello, I'm into data, see you all talking about data. Nobody's talking about. I think he's just gonna bring something up about data, right? And that's something I like about him. He reminds me of myself. Starting my career in data and being very passionate, talking about data, posting about data. Like, if you talk to my friends 5 years back, they'll tell you Timothy's into data. There's not that Timothy does in his life, and that's who Isaac is. Pursuing a person with a strong focus for data science and AI and machine learning. And I like the fact that he is more concerned about the application of these things. All right. So his work cuts across working on projects related to sales, his projects related to marketing, his projects are related to finance and revenue operation. And I like the fact that his long-term goal is very clear. And I think that's one thing that makes a data a professional. You have a long-term goal. It doesn't stop at being a data analyst. It doesn't stop at being a machine learning engineer. You're thinking of the application. You're thinking of applied machine learning. You're thinking of applied data science. You're thinking of applied analytics. And that's Isaac. His bigger picture is to become a revenue intelligence analyst and an AI engineer, right? And you know what is going on right now with, understanding the intelligence of systems. In fact, it's because of this concern about intelligence. That's what is causing the whole buzz with, cybersecurity and AI and machine learning, because people are trying to own intelligence and build intelligence and, create intelligence. And that's why the bigger players are always looking at AI related careers like AI engineers, people that their careers are towards data and AI. So I think we're actually in the right community, guys, and it's going to be an interesting session tonight. So stay close to the screen, don't walk away, and let's have Isaac as our guest for tonight. Hey Isaac, what's up? How you doing? He's young, go. This face you're seeing is actually Isaac. He's actually very young, but his face is not. His face is deceiving you. That guy is the brainiac. Isaac, what's up?
Almost all the things they are saying, God I
It's
beg.
it's true now. It's true. I told you on our graduation, and I still see you do those things. That's actually very amazing. Well done. Okay, so blow us away. The floor is yours. Talk to us about what you've worked on, what your portfolio is like. Show us screens. You're allowed to share as much screen as you have. The session is supposed to end by 10, but we're gonna go into 10:10. So you have like 10:10 to do the magic. All right.
All right, good
Okay,
evening,
so I'm
everyone.
going to stop sharing my screen. Hi, good evening. So, guys, the next person you're hearing is Isaac, not me. So, I'm out.
Good evening. I'll start by sharing my screen, please.
Okay.
I want to see if you are seeing the transition.
Yeah. We see a transition. It's active.
Okay.
Great.
All right. I'm very happy to be here. As Coach has already exaggerated everything. I don't know when I became more that. Well, so let's get started. Let's get started. So today I first want you to like just in few seconds, just be thinking of all the places that your professional profiles are scattered. You have profiles on LinkedIn, you have profiles on Instagram, on GitHub, wherever your portfolio, all those profiles, all your professional profiles are. I want you to think about where they are and begin to know, like we are going to enter them, right? So please let's just get ready to start. So basically, the main question we want to answer today is how can I turn my scattered profiles, my scattered evidence, all your skills into one professional identity? So that's the main question we are going to answer today, right? So right? We are going to build, not not directly build. I'm going to walk you through how to go about building a portfolio on a website. Yes. So let's get started. So basically, um, we are going to do four things. The first thing I want us to know is the clear difference between a profile, a portfolio. We have to know the clear difference between a profile, a portfolio, a resume, and a CV before we even get started. So it is very, very important that you know the difference between these things. So what's your profile is just your professional identity. For example, if I should type your name on LinkedIn, the first thing I should see when I click on your profile should be your profile. If you go ahead and say other things that does not say anything about you, about your profession, that does not say anything about your profile, then that's not a correct profile, right? Your profile just show your professional identity. Meanwhile, your portfolio is more like a collection of all the good works that you have done, all your projects, your achievements, sometimes your certifications, you put them in a portfolio. And one thing about portfolio is that it is very specific and unique, right? Just like your profile should be unique, your portfolio should be unique also. For example, now you should be able to extract good evidence from your portfolio and put it inside your resume. Your resume is just like, let's assume you want to apply for a job now and you are an analyst. You could be a financial analyst, a sales analyst at the same time, but you're applying for the role of a sales analyst. You don't want to put all your experience in all your analytics projects that you have done together in one resume. So resume is just a concise document that summarizes your most relevant experience for a particular opportunity. So that's what a resume is. A CV is more like how do I put this? Assume that you started primary school, you have gone through a lot of educations, you gain a lot of experiences. So that's one document that stores everything is your curriculum vitae. So it is a detailed document that presents all your qualifications. I mean, all your qualifications. So you have to know the difference between these three things, right? You need to know the difference between them. So now that I've talked about this difference, now let's look at how we are going to build the convergence, how we are going to bring everything together, right? So you have profiles on LinkedIn, on GitHub, on Upwork, on Kaggle, on Medium, on X, on WhatsApp, and so many places like that. And you want to bring them together in one place, right? You want to bring them together in one place so that if someone wants to reach out to you on LinkedIn, from that place they can get to LinkedIn, from that place they can get to GitHub, from that place they can get to your Gmail, to your Medium, to your X, anywhere they want to get to. So that is what we are going to do today, building basically just practical walkthrough of how you are going to like make a good portfolio website. So basically, if you have your profile scattered all over this platform, one thing you should have in mind is that all your profiles must be identical. Yes, all your profiles must be identical, and there should be a way to link them up. For example, there should be a link to reach out to you on LinkedIn from your GitHub, or a link to reach out to you on X from your GitHub, a link to reach out to you on your let's say Gmail from your WhatsApp, and so on and so forth like that. So there should be a way you can connect all these things together. So that's very, very important. So what portfolio website does is the stress of going through one place where you don't have enough thing. Instead of going to all those places, you can just go to a website. From the website, you can go to anywhere you want. Just see a website as a central hub where you can reach out to your Medium, where you tell some story about your project, or maybe you want someone wants to reach out to you on your marketing platform, for example, Upwork or Fiverr, they can easily reach out to you through a portfolio website, right? I don't want to talk about this. I've already said that all your platforms, everything that you have on those platforms should tell the same story. You should not have scattered profiles that have different identities. Let's assume you are a tutor. Your tutoring profile, if you have a WhatsApp profile, you should have two profiles if you are a tutor and a data analyst, one for tutoring, one for data analysis, right? So data analysis is a specific um is specific. So please don't join the two of them together, please. It is very, very important. All right, so without wasting much time, I want to like I want to take us to my um portfolio website so that you just have a view of, sorry, where is this thing? Okay, this I'm going to do a lot of dissection here because this website was just a joke. I was playing around because I was just thinking to myself, like, how can I be doing this and someone will not be able to reach out to me on my Gmail? Because most of the time, if you put your Gmail on different platforms, it's always hard to reach. The link to your Gmail is always very hard to find, right? But if you put a website link, somehow it's always very visible. So if you put a website link, someone will be able to reach out to you on the website. On the website, you have a contact form, you have different things, and they can easily like reach out to you. Even if they don't want to reach out to you through your Gmail, they can reach out to any of your platform as long as you have provided links to those platforms, right? This part is what we are going to do here is very important. So I want to be sure that you are hearing me, please. If you are hearing me, um, can you react if you are hearing me? Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get to this. Let's get to this. Where was I? So I've talked about this. So let's look at the the framework, how we are going to like bring everything together. So, well, I've I've talked about you having different platform, right? Now, you want to build a portfolio website. What is the first thing that you need to do? I'll be going through these two slides up and down. Please take note of the two slides. What are the things that you need to do? You see, there is something in software development that is very important. The software development is this cycle they call it. I don't know. It is very important that you follow a particular cycle to ensure that you have and a functional application that meets your requirements, right? So the first thing you need to do is to plan, right? The first thing you need to do is to plan. So what do I mean? So you have different profiles. You have LinkedIn profiles, you have Instagram, you have X profile, all those things together. So these profiles are different and they can contain different things. For example, you cannot store your certifications on X, but you can list them on LinkedIn. Yeah, you cannot tell story that stays on the on X, but you can tell stories that stay on Medium and all those platforms like that. So you have evidence of your work on different platforms. The first thing that you need to do is to list every place that you have your work together and list all the individual things that you have there. And then after that, you can now categorize those things, right? You can now categorize those things because you're going to need them. You're going to need them. You have done machine learning jobs, you have done software development jobs, you have done data analytics jobs, or let's bring it to data analysis. You have been doing health analytics, you have been doing sales analytics. All those projects are on different platforms. You need to categorize them, write them, have a documentation that stores all the projects well categorized or organized together. And then the next thing you need to do is to like, you have to like decide what you want to be known for, right? You want to build a portfolio. You are an ML engineer, you are a data analyst. Please, if you want to build a portfolio for data analytics, build a portfolio for data analytics, right? You have to decide what you want to be known for. Especially as a student, if you're a student here, you will understand what I'm saying, that you are exposed to a lot of opportunities, and you are exploring a lot of things. You have built a lot of projects, and now it is time for you to like decide which one you want to use, right? So it is very important that you take your time to decide what you want to be known for. Is very important, because that's what is going to be displayed on your portfolio. And then when you decide, let's assume you are going to be a sales analyst, for instance. You are going to be a sales analyst. Then from here, you can extract all your evidence from here, from these categories that you have, extract them and discard the one that you don't need, right? If you are going to build different portfolio, you can use the remaining ones for different portfolio. But if you are building a sales portfolio, you have to make sure that the projects that you store in this place is specific for that analytics, right? So once you are done picking, you need to select your strongest point. You cannot pick any random projects and store in your portfolio, because people are going to see it, right? So you need to select the most relevant projects that you are going to have. Please take note of this. Please, I want to know you are hearing me. Please, are you following?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, where were you? Where were
Yeah.
you?
So you need to select the most relevant projects that you are going to use as a sales analyst in your portfolio website. You need to select that. And then there are other decisions you have to make, which I want to explain in the next slide, right? So this DM here is your framework if you are going to build a website, right? The first thing is to plan. In planning, you gather requirements. Let me show you what I mean by gathering requirements. So now, these sales websites, this my website, which is not, I said is not good enough, has hero section, right? Everything they are going to have in these hero sections, you must know them. I have links, social links here. I have buttons. Some of these things, like what I click on, is a functional requirement. All these links, some of the things, some of the components you are going to be building in these websites are functional requirements. Some other things like hosting, you need a hosting platform. Those are like non-functional requirements. You must gather your requirements and classify them. So that's the first thing you need to do. Have a requirement documentation. That's very important. So now in your the about section, you have all the things you are going to have. You must have written everything that you need to put here. In your project section, you must have everything that you need to store in your project section. So that's what I mean by requirements gathering in the planning stage. Now, let's assume that you have so many things in your requirements documentation. That's how you have to prioritize them. Now,
Yeah, Isaac, what's up? Can you hear us? Hello? Yeah, Isaac, we can hear you if you're speaking. Okay. So, is the network, guys? Is the network? So let's just wait just a few minutes. No, I don't think it's muted. No, I don't think it's muted. All right, let me just check up on him. But in the meantime, he has actually laid a very good foundation. Oh, good. It was the network. So far, so good. Isaac has actually laid a very good foundation. And I want to hear it in the comments. What are the things that he said that you felt like, I didn't think about this, or oh, okay, I never saw this coming. So I want to read the comments. What were the things that you heard that have stuck with you in the first few minutes of Isaac's presentation? I think what Isaac is doing, the approach Isaac is coming from, is a basic explanation and understanding processes. Like Isaac is coming from a process angle, trying to like show the things that should be in place to set up, to finally decide that, okay, I'm ready to build a website portfolio. Isaac is saying you can't just go into building a portfolio website without having process. Don't forget, it's still a website. Custom website, custom portfolio website, it's still a website. Anyone who have built a website before or know someone that have built a website before would know this, that you have to follow some requirements. Agreed? Who agrees with me? You can't just build a website, you have to follow requirements. You have to know what exactly is the client's interest. What does the client want in this website? What is this website going to be used for? Is it going to be used for catching fish, or is it going to be selling fish? There have to be a reason for why you're building that portfolio. So if you've done like 5 projects, and you have to even have projects. So I want to believe you need to have project before you can build a portfolio, right? So you have to have a project. You must have a minimum of 3 to 5 projects, because your portfolio is not just going to have 2 projects. It's going to be very boring to just see 2 projects, right? And then you select the project that you want to be on your portfolio. And that's where he talks about the requirements, selection, having to know all the things that is expected of you. He talked about hosting. Well, I think I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna wait for him to come back and say more things. I hope Isaac joins in early so that we don't have to have part 3. Who thinks we're gonna have a part 3 of this session? Because it's looking like Network decides to join us on this call. I don't like that guy. Network, it's always going to remind you he's in charge. While you're having fun, you're listening, it's entering, you're nodding your head like, I hear you, bro. Keep preaching. Say more. And Network just joins the call. Ding dong. And you're like, what's going on? I can't hear you again. No. Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? And that's how it always starts. And suddenly, the ghosts the ghost of Notre Dame finally shows up on your call. Anyway, network is always reminding us of who's in charge of the call. But I'm waiting to read your comments. What have stood out for you since the session began? What was that thing that you heard and it made sense, and you think is actually very true? Because if you think about building a website, you have to have these things, you know, unified your personnel across a platform. Exactly, right? Thank you, Peter, for sharing that. You have to find a way to connect that. So you have to first make sure that you have a list of things. For some of us, we have our work on GitHub. For some of us, our work is on where Cargo. Okay, tell me in the comments, what are the different platforms you've shared your data work? GitHub, Medium, Cargo, Substack, LinkedIn, X. Okay. Any other person leaving a comment? Places you've shared your work. Any other person with places you've shared your work, even on how many of you have used this platform called what's this platform for writing? Not Medium. No, not Medium. What's this platform for writing? Notion. You guys all right? Eh?
Right.
Our analyst. always analyzing data. Notion. Have not have actually used Notion to like keep a documentation of your work? Have anybody used Notion before? Raise your hand if you have used Notion before. Substack, yeah. Notion. Notion is actually a very good place, you know. I think I saw a content about how you can use Notion to build a portfolio website, and I was like, oh, all right. Isaac is back. Hi, Isaac. What's up?
Please, I'm very sorry about
Ah,
that.
it's fine. We don't have control over the network. No fear, no fear.
Yeah. So I don't know where you guys. I don't know where I stopped because I was still going until I noticed. Yes.
Okay, so
So
who wants
please,
to tell us what was the last thing Isaac said before we stopped hearing him? Anybody wants to volunteer? I'm not gonna do all the talking. Though. Don't even think it. Don't even think it. Who wants to say where Isaac stopped? Select. Isaac, you were talking about the framework and you were on section. Select. Just save.
whoa, oh, that's where I was.
Yeah, you're talking about select. You had actually talked about all the things that should happen in select, but if you just, you know, summarize select for, yeah. We're talking about the frame too. Yeah.
All right. Wow. That means it
Yeah, you've gone far.
was a long time, right?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is what we missed. This is no, but in the second frame. The second framework.
I was here.
Yeah, yeah.
Did I talk did you guys hear me talk about implementation?
No, you didn't even preach it.
Wow. So I did all these things. Oh my god.
Yeah, you were talking to the mirror. We were
I'm
not.
so sorry, guys.
It's fine now. It's fine. You don't have control over it now. It's network. Don't
Yeah.
just continue as you've planned it. Don't worry. If we don't have enough time to do much, we can reschedule. I mean, that's why as a community, we use the time to do the little we can do and we move to the next thing. It's just a webinar. Don't worry. Take your time. All right.
All right.
Still
I
follow
think
the plan that you have. All right. Still follow the plan that you have. If we have to do a follow up, we'll do a follow up. Just follow the plan. What you're saying is actually very important and we love it. And it's actually very clear. And I think it's the first thing we need to know before we can even go into building the website officially. So it's good. So continue.
okay. Right. Okay. I think we can move on now. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, in the second frame, the framework too. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let me start from planning, right? Because I said a lot of things here. I don't know how I was saying it to myself. All right. So I said planning is in when you are trying to build something, even as a data analyst, you are trying to build something. It is always very important to plan, right? So I said, looking at my website, for example, where was it? Where is it? Sorry. Um, Looking at my website, for example, every component of this website, I had it, I had it prepared already before I started working on it. What I have here, I already have it in mind, what is going to be here. So I've already planned all my documentation. So the planning stage is basically this. In the planning stage, you basically gather requirements. What are the functional parts of the website that I want to build, and what are the non-functional requirements? Non-functional requirements like hosting platforms, like SEO and so on and so forth like that. So you need to gather those requirements, and then you need to analyze your requirement, because some of the things that you put in your requirements documentations may not be necessary for the project after analysis. So after analyzing everything that you need, especially when you are giving it to someone, these two stages are very important, because when you give something, when you give your documentation to someone to help you to build a website, you are stressing the developer if your requirement is unclear. So there is need for you to really sit down and plan on what sometimes is usually on the web developer side, to be asking you questions, having a workshop with you to know what you really want on your website. So planning and gathering requirements and analyzing those requirements to filter them is very important. So after requirements gathering is the design. In this stage, for us now as data people that we are not developer, what can we do in the design phase? What can we do in the design phase? Should we design? Is it like designing the website? What does it mean? So the website is a responsive and dynamic software, right? The design is more like a static framework of what your website should look like. It could be on paper. You could do it on paper. You could do it on Figma. Yes, you could do it on Figma. Um, you you may not even need to like design anything. You sometimes all you need to do is to look for a design online. Yes, there are some Figma pages that I've seen that have design templates for portfolio website. You could just pick any of those design templates. So you could use a template here. Could use a template. You could design a wireframe. I've said that, like a wireframe, or you could build a prototype. Like you can build a prototype using Figma. Anyhow you want to do it. Well, people that are graphic designer will find it very easy in this stage to like graphically represent what they want in their website. So it's very important phase before you start. So implementation is like bringing the website to life. Implementation is bringing the website to life. Um, in my own case, let me try to share. Let me try to share my what I did to have that website that you saw there. So what I did was I used React to write the code, React JS. I used React to write the code. And in React, there are different components. I cannot zoom it. I don't know why. Can only zoom the code section. So there are different components in React JS. Uh, there are different components. So sorry, what I mean by what I actually meant is that in React JS, you design using components. For example, where's that website? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, this is the website now. Now, in these websites, I designed them by components. The home, this place that you see as home in my website implementation is called hero section. So everything in this hero section was specifically like I sat down to design it for only this section. Doesn't have any relationship with other section. Yes, this hero section doesn't have any relationship with other section. And then the about me too is a different component. About is a different component. I design it separately. The project section too is a different component. I design them separately. In fact, these project cards are different components of the website. So what I'm trying to say is that you you can't you can implement your website using code like I did if you know how to code. In fact, if you have a design and you know how to prompt very well, if you use good AI like Claude Code, you can easily build a website within a day without wasting time. Yes, I can say that with I am very proud to say that because I've done that a number of times and it works all the time. It's always worked. As long as you know what you want to do and you have the problem in your mind and you know how to tell it to solve it, then it will do it, right? And that's not the real issue here. Basically, when you're using AI to do stuff, you have background knowledge on how to do it so that if there is any breakdown, you know how to resolve it and even how to reach out to the AI to help you to resolve it. So if you don't want to use code to design, you could use WordPress. Yes, you could use WordPress. I'm just giving you many other options. There's also Wix. Is it Wix? Yes, I think that's what they call it.
Yeah,
So Wix and WordPress are like there are no code website builders. You could basically use widgets. How do I explain what a widget is? Now look at this. This is a card, right? Let's assume okay, let's look at this place. This place is looking like in Excel, this place is looking like four cells. I don't know what to call that. So you basically have widgets for all these things. You have widgets for designing header text, for designing paragraph text, for doing so many things on this platform I just mentioned. So you can decide to code using a particular stack that you like, or you can use widget. So it is important to understand these things first, right? It's very important. So as I was saying, you need to have you need to have your, what is it called? What is this thing called? You need to have a hosting platform in mind before you even start. Yes, you need to have a hosting plan rather in mind before you start. For example, now some of us want to be very professional. You want to write something like let me show you my friend's website. Um, this guy is a developer, right? You can see the quality of this website. This is a portfolio website compared to my own, right? So now if you want to be very professional about what you are doing, you need to make sure that just just as you would choose a professional email, you won't use any email as your professional email. You use your full name .com. The same way, when you are building a website, you have to make sure that you have a professional should I call it domain name. Yes, you should have a professional domain name. You have domain plan in mind. If you want it to be .com, make it .com. You just need to buy the domain. So it's very important to have that plan before you even start. Yes, it's very important to have that plan. Now, when you host a website, the act of carrying your website from where you are building it to where you are hosting it is known as deployment. Let me talk about that. The act of carrying your website. For example, I was designing my website on VS Code. I was designing my website on VS Code, taking my website from VS Code to make it live on GitHub page, because I use GitHub page. So making it live on GitHub page, that is deployment. So that if anyone should type the URL of this website, they will be able to reach out to this place, just like this guy did here, right? So it is very, very important that you have that in mind. All right. So don't forget that this may not be your thing. This may not be a thing that you want to do. That's why I did not mention anything about testing, because you are going to test all the components to see if they are working. You are going to test all the third-party tools. For example, now the contact form that I used I used a third-party tool to integrate my Gmail to my website, so that when they click on submit, the message will go directly to my Gmail. Some people have more than one integration in their website. You have to test those integrations if they are working. You have to do different sort of tests, the total test, all the unit tests, and so on and so forth. You need to do all those testing before deployment. That's very important. It's just like you building why am I saying building? When you're working as a data analyst, it's building, right? So it is a project. You're building a project. You have to, you don't just commit anything. You have to make sure that everything is functional before you make your first commit. In fact, your first commit should show that it is working, so that if it's not even working later, you know that it was working before you did your first commit. That's very, very important. Please, I want to be sure that you get that part. Where is this? Yes, thank you. Please, I want to be sure that you get that part. So make sure you test your work very well. So I'm going to move on. Now, in the maintain part is where you would have to integrate different things. For example, if I have a new project in this my site, if I have a new project in this, where's the project section? If I have a new project, I have to manually integrate the project. I have to manually put the new projects on this website. Meanwhile, if I was using a CRM is customer relationship, is a relationship management platform like WordPress. But I'm using those kind of platform now, I could easily like do some typing and click on submit kind of thing to easily put new things online. It's not the same thing here. It's not the same thing here. So in my own side, because it's just my own is as less professional as possible. So it was just a testing site. Let me be frank with you. If I have a client in mind, if I have a client, my client asks me if I have a portfolio website, I will not say I have it. Let me just be frank with you. So that will lead me to what I'm going to say next, what I'm going to discuss next. So what separates a good portfolio website from a weak one? What separates a good portfolio website from a weak one? Let me see if I still have time. Oh my God. So I have like 7 more minutes. So what separates a good portfolio website from a weak one? So let's quickly look at that. So I'll be comparing this, my friend's websites with my own, right? So let's first look at my own. What do we have here? I have I have the home section, which is basically my profile. Then I have the about me, which is my bio, and also display my skills. Now look at this. Let me zoom it so that you can see it very well. Does it make sense? I want you to don't forget about that. This is my website. You can criticize this as much as you can. So it doesn't make sense to score yourself, to score your skills. From where? Which country? Which planet? Did you see something
So
that you
now we're
can
gonna
use
start with
to
the first
rate
step where we're
yourself?
gonna
Is it
learn
good?
simple but yet very powerful
No,
rules
it does
that
not make sense.
every Python
It
developer
doesn't make
should
sense.
follow
Thank
when
you.
they are
So it
writing
doesn't make
functions. The
sense
goal is
to
very simple. We have to
to
write
write
code
your
that
skills
is
like this.
easy to
Please don't do
read and
this
easy to
for any
understand,
reason.
not only
Let me
for
show
you
you
but
a
as well
good
for your
example of
colleagues.
this.
Many of those rules are actually come
So
from the PIP 8. This is the
this guy
official style
have
guide for Python. Just Google it and you're gonna find there like
excuse
a
me.
lot of
This
rules
this
that are
is
considered
about.
as standards
In his
on how to
about,
write clean Python code.
he
Of course, we will
has
not
his
deep dive
bio
into
on the
all of
left
them, but I'm
side,
gonna show you
which
the
I'm showing
most
you.
critical one
And
that
on the
if
right
you ignore
side,
it,
he
your
has
pull
his
request
skills
in the
listed
review will
properly.
be rejected.
As
At
a
the same time,
backend
there are rules
engineer,
that are
these
not
are
written
all
in the
these
official
things
document,
that
but
all
still it is like
the
common
skills that he
standards
has as a
between
database
professional Python
management.
developers. So
For
now,
that database
let's go and dive
management,
in.
he has all
Alright
these
friends, so now here
skills.
we have a very simple
These
example
are
of
all
a
these
function that
the
is
tools that
actually
he used for
working
DevOps.
but not
These are all the
following any
tools
standards.
that
So if
he
this is
used
really
together.
bad,
So
the function
you have
accepts
seen
two
how to display your
parameters, the
skills. So
price
please take
and the
notes.
rate, and
Don't
it does some
ever
calculations in order to
I'm
find
sorry,
the
I'm not
price after
commanding,
applying
please.
the discounts. So now what we're
Don't
gonna
do
do, I'm gonna
this
show
on your
you how I
website,
usually
on your
review the
portfolio
code
website.
in my project,
Your
and
whoever
we're
is
gonna
listening this will be
refactor
like,
this
who is
bad
this person? How
function
is this
so that
person
we're
knowing
gonna
that
apply all the
is this good?
standards and the
90%
rules
good in
that we
Python. Are you
usually
God?
follow in our professional
Oh my god.
projects. So now,
I'm sorry that I'm
usually the
laughing at
first thing
myself
that I
because
look
it's
at
very,
is the
very fun.
function name. And here we have few rules.
It's
The
very, very
first rule
fun.
says follow the
Vasi,
naming
Vasi, are
convention
you
in
saying
the
something?
snake case for the
Yes,
function
I wanted
names
to
where we
ask. I
use
wanted to say
lowercase
something, please. I
letters
wanted to
and
ask a
we
question.
separate them using
Yeah.
underscore. This
Okay,
is the
sorry,
official
please. On my
style from
first
Python if you are following
display,
the
like seeing
pip8. So now
this
by looking to the
display
function name, as you can
about
see, it is
me,
not following our
I think what I
standards. The
interpreted
D is
was, okay,
uppercase
this
and
is
as
the
well the
percentage
P
of
is
Python
uppercase.
project
And the
I've
two words
done,
actually
percentage of
connected to
Excel.
each other.
So
There is
like, is
no
it also
separation. So
appropriate
there
or
is no
good enough
underscore.
to
Now
have
in order to fix
that
it, we're going to
kind
do the
of
following. So we're going to say
explanation on your
diff, and now
portfolio?
everything is lowercase. So
No,
this
don't do
underscore,
it. Let
and
me
then
give
after
you
that we have the
you
print
what
as
you
well
can do
lowercase.
instead.
So
Now
actually
look at
this
this
is the
project.
function name
Okay.
following the first rule.
Look at
Now
this
the
project,
second
for
rule is
example.
as well about the naming of the function. So it says
Look
the
at this
function
project,
name
for
should
example, that I
clearly
did.
describe what the
So in this
function
project,
does. So we usually
I use
start
tags
with a
to display
verb
all
in
my
the function
skills.
name because usually our functions
Right.
are actions
I use
and
tags to
it does
display all my
something.
skills.
And
I notice
always
that
use
other
clear
people are doing
names
it
and
like that
avoid
also.
abbreviations. So now by looking back to our name,
You can use
disk
tags to
underscore
display your
print,
skills. You
it
don't
doesn't say
necessarily
anything,
have
right?
to
It is
use
not an
Python.
action. I have to check the
Sorry,
function or
you
maybe
don't
the
necessarily
description
have
to
to use the
understand what is
metric
going
bar
on,
like
right?
this
So now we have to give
to
it a better,
display it.
meaningful name. So
It doesn't
first we're gonna
really.
start with a verb.
People will feel
By
somehow.
looking to this, we are
Like
calculating
the first time I did
discount,
this, I
right?
felt good
So
about
the
it.
verb here
I won't
is
lie to
actually
you.
we are
I
calculating.
felt good
So
about it.
calculate. This is the action name,
Thank
and then
you.
we have to
Thanks for
describe what we
understanding.
are
I felt
calculating.
good
It
about
is
it.
actually the discount.
But after
So
like
this is
after
the
like 3
function
days, I
name.
was like,
Let's start with a
bro,
verb,
what
and
is
all the
this?
names
I
are clear.
intentionally
So
did
now
not
by
remove
just
this
looking to
because
the name,
I
you
feel
can
very
understand
bad
immediately
about.
we are calculating the
Like I don't like the
discount.
fact
So
that
if you
it is
go
here
and
that you
compare
are
it to the
saying it.
old one,
I intentionally
it
leave
is
it here
way
so that
more
I'll use
clear,
it to
right?
explain.
Now the next step, I usually
So
go and check
let
the
me
parameters. And here
now
we come to the
continue.
third rule. Parameter names
You can
should
see the additional
explain
stuff
what
that
kind
this
of
person has.
value
He
they
has
hold. So it is very
services and
similar as
projects.
well to the function
So
name. Don't use
what
abbreviations
what
or
are
like
the
here
difference between
single
services and
letters for the
projects? These are like
parameters.
what you
Just
render.
use a full
It's not
name. It's gonna
necessarily
make your
what
life
you have
and
worked
your
on,
colleagues'
what you
life
can
easier. So now
render.
instead
These
of
are your
having
services.
P, we're gonna
And
say
he also
price.
has projects
As well, of course,
that he
everything
has worked on.
lowercase. And instead of
So
R,
as you
we're gonna
see,
say rates.
in
By
each of
just
his project
renaming,
cards,
everything is
just
clear.
as I
Calculating the
explained
discount, gonna
earlier,
need the
he's
price
also
and the
using
rates.
tags.
But now if you read this,
He's
you're
also
gonna ask
using
yourself,
tags
what is P? What is
to
R?
show all his
I need
skills,
some
right?
catalog to understand how this
Now,
works.
let
Alright,
me
moving on to
now
another thing.
put
After
something I
reviewing the
did not
name
put
and
in
the
my own.
parameters, I usually
There's
go and
no
check the description
experience
of the
section
function. So where is the
in my own
documentation
portfolio
here? This
website.
is really bad. And here we come to the rule number 4.
There's
Always
no
use
experience
a doc
section.
string to describe what a function
Now,
does. I know
experience
this is
is
a topic at
different
the
from
start might
projects. Don't
sound
get me wrong.
annoying for many developers, but as you do multiple
You
projects, you're gonna
extracted
understand why
data
we
from.
document our functions.
Please,
Of course,
I'm
in
laughing
projects
as
you
I'm
will
saying this
not be
because I do this a
soloing
lot.
Python. You're
I
gonna work
extracted
in a
data
team,
from
and it is always
Cargo.
nice to
I
let
did
others
some
know
amazing
what the
stuff. I
function
feel good
actually
about
does.
it.
And not
That's no
only for me,
experience actually.
actually
It's just a
for you
project
as
I
well.
worked on.
Because believe me, after a
Right.
week writing your
I did not
function,
go
you're
to
gonna
any
forget
industry. I did
about
not work for
what you have
anybody.
written. So by
Right.
having a nice clean description,
I
it
did
is
not
as well
do
good for you
anything
to
with
remember
any
what you have
team.
done in
I
case you
did it
want
on
to
my own. I
refactor
got
or
the
maybe to
data
fix your function
and open
later.
data
So now I said we use
or
doc string. So
an
what
open
is
source
that?
data, and I
It is
worked
a
on
string
it.
that is placed
That's
at
my
the
experience.
first
You
line
can put that
inside
in
the
your project
function.
if it's
So
good
this sounds a
enough.
little bit weird. Let me show
So
you what I mean. So
experience
this is our
now.
function here, and now I'm
This
gonna
is
go
showing
inside
that
it.
he has
The
worked
first
with
thing
Deba,
that we do inside
he
the
has
function
worked
is
with 10
actually not
million, he has
writing
worked
the
with
logic
this
and the
and that.
calculations. We
So
write a
that's
description.
experience.
So in order to write a
And
doc
then
string, so that
he
it
also
is
has
easier for you to
certification
write
sections.
like
So
multiple
these are
lines of
things that you can
descriptions.
put in your
But for
portfolio.
now, I'm gonna have it only like one line describing the function.
If you have
So
been
it is
working
very
for
simple.
clients, you can
Calculate
include
the final
testimonials.
price
So as I'm saying these
after
things, I'm
applying
opening your mind to what
discounts.
you can put in your
So actually
requirements
that's it. This is
documentations.
only one line, and now you
Are
might
you
ask the
guessing?
first question
I'm
and you
opening your mind
say,
to what you can put in
why
your
we are
requirements
putting this in
documentation.
string? Why we are not just
You don't
using a
necessarily need
comment like we
a
used
blog
before? So
in
we
your
start with the
portfolio
hash,
website,
and then we put the whole
right?
thing.
But
Well, the first thing
the
is
most
that
important
once
thing
Python
here
sees the
is
hash, it
this
understands
contact
it is a
form.
comment, and Python will gonna ignore the whole thing.
I don't know what
So
to
it
call
will
you
be
guys now.
lost, it
My
will be
brother and
ignored,
my
and the
sisters,
program,
right?
the code,
Let me
don't
call you
know about
that.
this comment at
My
all. But
brothers
if
and
you are
my
using
sisters.
a
Tell tell
type
me
string, Python
what
is going to use
profits
this
a
as a
man
description for the
that
function. So
build
it's
a
going to go and
portfolio
store
website
it
without a
inside the
contact
function as
information?
documentation. So it is not lost. It is
What
something that
profits
is
do you have, for
attached to the
goodness sake?
function. And
So
of
you
course, you
need
might
your
still
contact
asking why
information.
we need actually the
Me,
description.
I
We
did
are
don't
not
even
using
like.
this
If you see my
values,
own
its string
contact is
value inside
everywhere.
our calculation,
If
right?
you
You
come
are totally
to
right.
if
We
you
are
come
not using
to
this as
the
a
hero
value
section,
for
there's
our
contacts
function,
there.
but it
If
is
you go
there
down,
inside the program,
before you
and
even
I
reach
can go
anywhere,
and
there's
call
another
it. For
contact
example,
here.
if you go and
You
use the
get
function
down,
help
down.
and then use the function name,
Contact is
so something
everywhere.
like this,
So
Python
like
gonna
I
return
want
the
you to message me
documentation of the
everywhere you
function.
go.
But of course, in order to try
So
this,
take
I
note of
need
that. It
something
is
inside
very,
the
very
function. So
important.
maybe
And
return now
one more
one,
thing
something like
is
this, just in
one
order
more
to
thing
not
is
get an
that
error.
you
So now
must
if you go and
have
execute it,
this
now look to the output, I'm
CV,
gonna get a full
right?
description of my function,
You must
including a
have this
docstring.
CV
So
and
this
some
is a really
strong
nice
call to
information
action.
and it lives and
Like
exists inside
this
Python
is
now.
the
But
important thing
if
I'm
I
telling
don't
you
do
now.
it, so let me just go and
In
remove
your
it
hero
and I
section,
stick
there
with
must
the
be a very
comments. Look at
big
this
call
as
to
I'm asking
action
for help for the
that
function. There
the
is
person will
no
even see before they see
documentations
your
for the
name.
function. That means I have to
For example,
open
if
the
they just
code,
drop
open the
on
function in
your
order to
website, the
read
first
the
thing they
comments.
see,
So
I
this
am
is
me.
something that we check
Or they
whether
drop
the
on your
function
website,
has
the
a
first thing they
description or
see,
not.
download
Then we
CV.
go inside
Let's
the
assume
function
that
and
the
start
main
checking the
purpose that they
logic
came to
and
your
how the function
website
is
is
written.
to do a
And
part.
here
Okay,
immediately you're gonna jump to the
before I
next rule
said
where
that,
we're
let me
gonna
quickly
say
finish this thing.
don't
I wanted
print
to
inside
compare this
functions,
space is
instead
blank. You can
use
take this as
returned
assignment.
value. So now by looking
What
to our function, actually
separates
it
a
is
good?
printing a lot. We
You
have
can
the first
screenshot
print
this.
and the
I'll give you
second
10
print,
seconds.
and it is not
You
returning
can take it as
anything back to our
assignment.
program.
You
Now
can
this is
just do
something
an
that
A/B
we have to
testing here
avoid.
in
So
this
avoid
portfolio
using
side.
prints. So
You
that means
have
if
a
I take the logic
portfolio
over
A
here and
and a
start like
portfolio B.
refactoring, I'm
Pick
gonna get
any
rid of
portfolio
the
website you
first
see
print as
online
well.
and
I understand
compare
it is
them
nothing to
and
print
pick the
in the
one that you
output,
like the
but
most.
we usually don't do
And then
that.
also
If I
write
need to
out
print, I always
what you
print
can
in the
do
main
to
code, not inside the
make your
functions. So I will get
portfolio
rid of
big or
this, and
strong,
instead of the
right?
last
What you
print,
can do
I'm
to
gonna go and
make your
replace
CV
it
good.
with a
By
return, of
now, I believe
course.
that
And of
everybody
course,
know
here we
what a
have to go
CV
and
is.
start
A CV
using
is
our parameter. So
everything.
it's gonna
CV is
be
everything. Resume is for a
and here
particular
the
work.
rate.
A
So
particular
that's it
work. Why
actually.
portfolio
Don't use prints,
is a
use
summary
return
of
instead.
most
Okay, moving on to the next
important
rule.
things
Don't
about your
modify the
specific
values of the parameters. So leave it as
how
it
do I put
is.
it? Assuming
Use
you are a
local
data
variables
analyst now.
instead. So now by looking to
The
this
most
example, you can
important
see the parameter
information
P is
about you should be
actually
stored in your
getting
portfolio.
modified by
So
assigning it to the new calculation.
before
So
I
with that, at this
finish,
stage,
now
actually,
I
you
want
lost
to
the raw
I
value.
want to
So
talk
we don't
about
do
this.
this. Instead, we introduced a new
I drew
local
this with my
variable. So
pen,
now
so
instead of
I don't know if
saying
it is
price
clear.
is
Let me
equal,
put
I'm
the
gonna
head very
say
well.
final
Please let me
price.
check.
So that
Can
means the
everybody
original
see
price
this?
inside the parameter and the
Can you see the
modified one
whiteboard?
is inside a local variable. So with that, I don't lose my values. And
Wonderful,
now I'm gonna go
wonderful.
and
Thank you.
return, of course, the
So this
final
is where we are
price.
going to
Of
end
course,
the
at the end,
class.
I'm
So
gonna
pay
get exactly the
attention
same
very
result. It's
well.
just
Pay
like
attention.
clean way on how we work inside the
Okay.
function.
All
Because
right.
as things
Now
get
let's
more
finish this.
complicated, you might go and
You
start
are
like
building a
adding more
portfolio
steps, and
website.
it will not be any more clear. Are we using now the original price from
Portfolio.
the input, or is it like modified?
When you are
So
building your
just make it
portfolio,
clean
what should
and
be in your
introduce a
mind
new
is not
variable. It will
you.
not be
You are
bad.
the one
So
that
now
is
the next
building
one,
it.
it is not a
You are
rule,
not the one
but
that wants
if you
to
have
use
like
it.
one line
So every
calculation like
actor
this, and you don't have
can
any
be
extra
you,
steps inside it,
but
you
you
can
are the
actually
less
skip
important person here.
using
This
any
is you.
assignment and using a local
This is a
variable.
visitor.
You can put the whole thing as an
Right?
expression inside
You
the
can see the number
return.
of things
Our
that
function is just
a
one
visitor
line
can
together
do
with the
in your
return. So I'm
portfolio.
gonna say
You
this
only
is
have two
not
things to
like,
do
let's
here
say,
according to this
hard
my
rule.
use case
It's gonna be okay if you use it
diagram.
like this,
So in
or
this use case diagram,
introduce like a
whenever
local
a
variable
person
for
comes
it.
to your
Now I'm gonna say if you
website,
follow
the person
those
can
rules,
read
now you are
your
80%
testimonials.
professional at
It may
your
be that that's
code,
the only thing that the person
but you
came to
have
do.
followed all
Please,
the must
let it be
rules.
visible.
Now we're gonna
Let
go
me show
and
you
add
how.
some extra,
Let it
let's
be
say,
visible.
add-ons,
Let
modern
me show you how.
rules. So
The
they are not described
testimonial
in the
is
PIP 8,
visibly
but they are rules that are
displayed
actually
here
followed
on
by
the
professionals at companies. So
I
now
don't know
the
if I
first
can zoom
luxury
this.
rule
It's
says
visibly
use
displayed here on
data
the
type
navigation
hints
bar.
for the function parameters
Even if the
and the
person does not
return
have eye, you
values.
will
Now
see
the thing
it.
is, in
Yes,
real projects,
you will see
most
it
of
there.
the
It's
bugs comes
visibly
actually
displayed.
from wrong
So
data
you have to
types.
make sure
So what
that
actually
anything
happens
that
is
they
that
want to see
if I am like
is
calling the
as
function
visible as
and I
possible.
understand, okay, it
Or the
accepts
person may come
price
to read
and
your
rate,
profile,
but
make
I
sure that
don't know
your hero
exactly which
section is
data
as
type I
neat
should
as
follow.
possible.
Like maybe for the
Your hero
price, it will be
section
clear.
is
I'm
what
going to use
tells
maybe
a
100, but
visitor
for the
whether
rate,
he
I
should
might
go
go and
or
add
not.
like maybe a string value,
I've explained
like
what the hero section
20%.
is. Let me show
Now,
you
if I go and
again.
execute it, I will get an error because this is a
Sorry.
string value and it will not
Why am
work
I
in the
using this guy?
calculation. It need a
This guy
numeric
about
value,
shine
but
me.
it's something that I
God, I
really
beg.
don't know by just reading the
All right.
function
So this is
description
my
or
hero
the
section,
function
right?
name. Of course, it is
I know
not
it
very
doesn't really
clear
look
that
good
I should
like
not
that,
use it,
but
but if the
everything
function
here
is
in
a
this
little bit
hero
complex, you're
section
gonna end up using
should
a wrong
tell
data
everything
type.
about
And
you.
this happens a
And
lot
this
in
is
Project
where
3. So now
what
instead
to
of
determine
me
if the
try
person
and
is going
error
to
which
take any
data type
action
I
or
should
not.
use,
So
you
make
to
sure
be
that
the one
this
that
is the
is
best
building this function
place
should
ever.
give me a hint.
Like, make sure
So
this place
how
is
we gonna do
properly
it? We're gonna
designed
go to the
and
price and
properly
we're gonna say
structured.
double point after it.
And then
so not
it
equal.
may be that they
I'm
want
not
to view your
assigning anything.
project.
Double point. I'm gonna say float.
Make sure that
So
your
now this
projects
is a
are
very important thing
detailed.
to understand. This
And
is a
about
hint.
projects, let me tell
This
you
is
one
for
thing.
us, for humans, in order to understand
Your
how to
projects
do
must
the
have.
call. It is not
Look at my
for
projects.
Python. So Python will
I've done
not
a
go
lot of
and change
critics on
the
this my
data type
website.
of the price to
This is my
float.
project
The data type is going to be
card.
depending
Do
on
not
the
have any
values that
link.
you are passing in the function call.
Although if
so
I click
Python
on
gonna
it,
see
it take
this
me
is
to a link, but
100, and then
doesn't
it's
have
gonna use
any
for
call
it
to action
maybe a
that say
number.
click.
So I'm not
Let me now show
assigning
you
here or
Andrew's
doing data type
So if you
casting.
get to
It is
Andrew's
just
project
hint for us.
section,
And the same thing, I'm gonna go and add it for the rates. So use
where
a
is
float.
it?
So with that, for me as a
Projects.
caller for this function, I'm gonna understand immediately, okay, the rates
So see,
should
look
not
at this.
be, let's say, string value, it should be floats or a number, of course, it's fine. So now with this, we gave
They
hints,
are
of
like-
course, for the parameters, the input of the function, but as well, we can go and give a hint for the returned value so that I understand, okay, I'm returning here a float number. But now in order to do it, we will not go over here
Yep.
and add a double point.
That's what just
Instead,
happened
we're going
again.
to go over here, just before the
Isaac,
double
can you hear
points,
us?
we're going to go and add
Because we
a
can hear
nice
you.
arrow. And then we're going to say floats. So with
Yep,
that, we are
and
saying
that was
this
network.
input can return a float.
So
like,
annoying,
it looks
like I
nice,
said,
right?
always
So as I said,
reminding
this
us
is
who's
a
in charge
luxury
of the
thing,
call.
but professional
Always
Python
reminding
developers
us who's in
use those
charge.
hints
To
usually in the
just tell you,
functions. Now,
sit
another
down,
luxury
calm
thing,
down. You
but
don't
still it
forget
is
that.
professional,
Yeah.
Okay,
we
so
add
they
as
must
well
know
a
as the person.
description for the input
Isaac,
and the
we've
output
lost
inside
you
the
for
doc string.
seconds.
You're gonna find
We
this
lost you.
everywhere
Yeah, I'm back,
from
I'm back.
professional Python coders. So how are we gonna do it? We're gonna go
I'm
and
back.
add
Please,
a new
are you
lines
guys
inside
with
our
me?
doc
I'm
string.
almost done.
So now this
I'm
is
almost done.
just a
Just give me,
description.
coach, please,
Usually
if
the
you can give
first
me
one
like
gonna
3
be
minutes,
the
please.
description of the
All right, take
function,
5.
and then we're gonna say args for arguments. Now we are
All right,
just
what I was saying is
describing the
that
input of the function. So just
your
organize it
I
nice.
was
We're gonna
talking
say,
about
okay, the first input is the
viewing
price,
projects, and then I said
the
that
data type
make
gonna be
sure that
floats. And here you just describe
make
the
sure
input. So maybe you can
that
say
there's a call to
original,
action for them to
products,
view it.
price, and
You
then the
have it
second input
visible
gonna
on
be
your
the
project.
rates. As
Some
well
of them we don't know
floats.
that
So we're
they
gonna
have
say
to click on the
discount
card to
rate
take them to the
as
project.
numbers.
I don't want
Maybe
to
I'm gonna
click
go
on
and add
this.
an
It's going
example.
to take me to the
20
project.
for 20
Even my own
cents,
to
something
ask
like that. So I'm just
click.
describing the inputs.
If I click
Now,
on
of
it,
course,
takes
we
me
can
to
go and
my
describe
project.
the returned value.
So
So we can
please
say
make sure that
returns, double
is,
points.
and make sure
We have here
your
only one
resume
value,
is
so the final
downloadable.
price. So it's gonna be as
If
well
you don't
float,
want your resume
final
to be
price
edited, make it
after
be
applying
make it
discounts.
be
So with this, I can
what's
say
it
you
called?
have now professional
A
doc
PDF.
string for the
Let me show
function,
you.
one
My
line
own
for the
should be
function
downloadable.
description, for the
If
inputs, so the
something has not
parameters, and
happened
for the
to it.
returns. So my friends, those two things, the hints for the data
Yes,
types
I'm
and
downloading
the
it. Okay, it's
extended doc string,
downloadable.
it is something nice.
So it
If you want
opens,
to work
right?
as an expert, you
So
can go
you
and add those
must make
small
sure that
details.
it is
So now just
downloadable.
have a look,
And
go and
as I've
compare
said
the
earlier,
new
your
design
project
of the
should have a
function with the
project
old
link.
one. By adding those few
So
rules,
another
which
thing that
is
they
really
have
simple,
to,
our
they may
function
want to
looks
do, a
way
visitor may
more
want to do, is
professional
to
than the
explore
old
your
one.
skills.
And in just
Make
few
sure
seconds,
they
you can
can
understand
easily reach
exactly
out
what
to
is going
those
on.
skills. They
And
reach you
you're gonna
about
look
me. That's
professional
where your
at your
skills should
projects.
be
If you
displayed.
like this type of
Very
content,
visible.
then support the
So I've
channel by
already talked
subscribing,
about
liking,
skills, how
and
you can
commenting.
make your
This really
skills show.
gonna
Don't
help the
use
algorithm to reach nice
use
people
metric
like you.
bars,
If you're still
please.
here, then thank
Don't
you
use
so much for
metric
watching, and I will see you in
bars.
the next video. Bye bye.
And your contact form, my God, your contact form, please make sure you have a contact form. I don't know why you will not have a contact form, and all the links and so on and so forth. So I've said a lot of things. I think I've said enough. So one thing that you have noticed about a portfolio website is that it has linked to every other, if not all of them, most of your other profiles. It has linked to most of your other profiles, right? Please always try your best. See, let me give you a professional advice, not like I'm very professional. I'm just giving you this as a professional advice. Make sure you have a master CV. Yes, make sure you have a master CV. It's always easier to extract information from your CV than from different platforms, right? CV is not for applying for jobs. CV is just